to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody. November 6th, 1 p.m., general session of the Southampton Town Trustees. Ask the Secretary Treasurer to call the roll.
Trustee William Parrish.
Present.
Trustee Ann Walker.
Here.
Trustee Edward J. Warner Jr.
Present.
William R. Pell, Secretary Treasurer, is here, and President Scott M. Horowitz.
I am here. Thank
You're
you.
ready to go.
Thank you, and welcome to the folks that are on Zoom. For information, the next trustee work session will be November 20th at 9:30 a.m., followed by our 1 p.m. regular general session. We did receive communications, as you can see, are listed here. 10/23/2023 Suffolk County Agriculture Lease, looking for comment. 10/25/2023 for the Pine Neck Marina and Noyak, some folks, Susie and Morgan O'Brien. 10/26/2023, and some communication on 51 Pine Neck Avenue, New York, Noyak CAC. You can all take a look at that. You can receive copies. We do have some discussions on. You will see in your packets, there is the draft fee schedule and also the draft work session and meeting dates. You don't have to comment on it now, but I would suggest you do is mark it up. And mark it up with whatever ideas that you have, and then perhaps
Have a discussion at the
yeah,
next work session?
Exactly, have a discussion at the next session. This way you have a little bit of time to digest it. I mean, one thing that I was thinking about is that we need to get a handle on the commercial aspects of the piers and docks that we have with some type of a licensing agreement. That way there's some knowledge of who's using it for loading and unloading and what the time frame is, and there's some accountability. If somebody has done some damage, perhaps we would know who. But I think that's a little bit more of a public hearing type situation. It's gonna require some drafting as well, but I think there needs to be, we spend a lot of money on repairing these facilities. We're utilizing trust revenue to pay the debt service back to the town for the repairs. It's needed. They're very needed because you have a lot of projects going on in the waterway, and people have to be able to get their materials and their equipment. But there needs to be a system in place for accountability, though. Perhaps some licensing agreements. This way we know what's going on, and we can have the Marine Patrol also, take a look and verify this, and that way, if there's some damage done inadvertently, we'll know what's going on and we'll be able to address. So that's just my commentary on perhaps, because there would be a fee attached to that as well, but it would be.
Yeah, I think it's very important because there has been damage to some of our facilities in the past and no one ever really seems to know who did it. This way, with a licensing agreement, we would know who would be using the dock, when they'd be using it, proper insurances and, stuff like that is needed so that we're, insured and they're insured. And again, we have the Bay Constables overseeing these projects so that we know who's there, and if there's any damages, we will know who to contact in case of, an issue.
A lot of times complaints that come in, and people kind of overstay in their welcome. I mean, the thing is with the trustee, properties and resources, they're all shared resources. And, so everybody's got to, do what they got to do and then move on, so that, will be a fee attached to that. And I think that, as you're going down that list, if you'll put your thoughts together on what I'm talking about, I think that will be helpful, because it's
Yes.
going to end up going to a public hearing.
Because you have to include what kind of boat can be tied up there, too.
Yeah.
What kind of vessel.
Exactly. Make your notes, and then we'll put it together from there. I don't know if anybody else has any commentary. The dates, I think we stuck with, Jessica, the traditional schedule that we generally have, so there's not a deviation there, but everybody, looked that
Yep.
over. And then we can move forward at the next meeting. Anybody have any commentary now, or are you gonna reserve that till after you reviewed it, or?
Reserve.
Okay.
Some full review.
Okay, so that being said, we do have a couple of public hearings that are scheduled today, all right? So the first public hearing is for establishing a waterfowl sanctuary area in the village of Quogue. I'd like to make a motion to open that public hearing.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that is open. All right. I really think that this is a good way to go. We've been managing this waterfowl resource, and, you kind of manage these things so that you have some form of balance. And I think that what we learned over the last couple of meetings is that there is a certain area that we've established over here. Quag, it's up on the screen right now. I really think it's to the advantage of making this a sanctuary area. I have had conversations with Mayor Truhold from the Village of Quag. He is in support of this being a sanctuary area. I have heard from many waterfowlers in the area that are also in favor of this being a sanctuary area. I'm interested to hear from the public of what they think, relative to this. We have some folks on Zoom. Does anybody have their hand up that wants to chime in one way or the other, Charles?
No participants.
Okay. Does anybody here in the public like to speak? Anybody on the board want to have any
Yeah,
commentary?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a comment. This area was brought to light by an application for a new duck blind location. Looked at it at first glance, people said it was a good idea, at least the person that was presented it. Having discussion with several of the hunters in the area, they thought it was not a good idea because they would like to see it become a sanctuary. It's on the South Shore Flyway, and most of these areas that are hunted are only hunted on storms and not every day. And having this particular area, which is technically a resting area for the birds during a storm event, would be not a good idea. Personally, I think it should be made a sanctuary, and I'm hoping that the board sees fit to work that way. But being that said, not every square inch of the town that can be hunted needs to be hunted or should be hunted. So that's the only thing.
I
I
agree.
think we should also just show the people exactly where the bird sanctuary is.
Yeah, if we could.
So it's the whole, can you just put to show them exactly what it
Can you
is?
move your,
Cursor around?
Cursor,
Right,
to
so,
show.
Just-
I believe it starts up here, right, Joe?
Yep.
I think it cuts across here and then comes down, and it's this entire water body in here.
right, so that will be clearly, if it passes resolution, it will be clearly delineated in
And
our,
marked out.
could we also just show the public where the blinds are now in the adjacent area? Please. Thanks, James. Sorry, not meaning to put you on the spot.
As
Again,
you-
these are approximate because they're not exact
Right.
location.
so you do, right, so you have blinds all around there, which is why when there was a request for another spot to go in there, there was a lot of concern. And then when you look at management of the resource as a whole, it does make perfect sense and to have that area as a resting area, okay? It's a well-managed, balanced resource, and I think that would be helpful. And again, we do have the support of the Village of Quag on our endeavor here, too. Anybody else, Trustee Parish?
No, I think it's a good idea. I just don't want people to think that we're doing this to appease the homeowners in the area.
Oh, yeah, no, has no bearing on that at all.
Actually, the duck hunters came to us and
Correct.
asked.
Correct, yeah. I mean, public safety is always concern number one whenever you are administering the waterfowl program. That's always the first consideration. The trustees are here for the preservation of the rights of historical uses of our bay and our wetlands, and that includes the shared resources of the hunters that do waterfowl. That being said, with people that, really enjoy that activity, that invest a lot of time and a lot of money in it, you want to be productive in what it is that you do. And if you create, overcrowding of this resource and you make a scenario where people are not going to be productive, that doesn't make a lot of sense. You want to take a program that's functioning well, it's been safe, you have a lot of people for generations have been practicing this, you have new people that want to get involved in it. You want to do what it is that you can to preserve a productive resource. And in having conversations with members of the public, you know, you always want to be able to be collaborating with your other jurisdictions that you're bumping up against. In this case, it's the Village of Quogue. They're very supportive, as have been all the other hunters that are in the area. And in general, when you speak to the hunters, waterfowlers in general, you know, they understand. The birds need a place to rest. There needs to be sanctuary spaces. You need to have a certain type of a habitat and environment for them to be productive and successful in what they do. And I think this is a step in the right direction.
I agree.
All right, so if there's no comments from the Zoom, no comments from the public, and no further comments from the board, then I would make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Pell, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that public hearing is closed. A second public hearing on an amendment of the Blue Book A340, amending the management and products of the waters of the town of Southampton, Article 2, Section 17. Spawner sanctuaries, I'll make a motion to open that public
Second.
hearing. Seconded, trustee
Second.
Pell, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Go ahead, Ed.
spearheading this one,
Yes.
trustee Warner.
It's a notice of adoption, it's a notice of amendment of Blue Book A340, amending the management and products of the waters of the town of Southampton, Article 2, Section 17, spawner sanctuaries. After the last meeting that we had with the baykeeper, Peter Topping, he came before us asking us to consider a couple of areas in Cold Springs. Some areas adjoining closed areas that are seasonally closed and some areas that are completely open. It's in an area close to his project, which he does growing oysters. Peter, would you like to come up here and give us a little bit of
Yeah, come
an
on up.
overview of what?
Sign-in sheet?
Podium
Wherever
Here's
you're more
fine.
comfortable. If you want to be here, please. If the sheet's up there, you got to grab it to sign in, that's all.
You can bring the sheet over here if you want,
We're
Pete.
putting you to work, Peter.
Yeah.
Doesn't pay much.
Yeah.
I mean, as we've
Bravo,
learned,
cost you money.
working with the Stony Brook College, Cornell Carpet Extension, and the Governor's Clean Water Task Force, establishing and maintaining shellfish spawner sanctuaries in the town does pay, well, it has paid great dividends to the environment, to the local and recreational and commercial guys, as far as shellfish habitat and the amount of shellfish that able to be harvested. So it seems to be a good program. So Peter bringing it up to us in this area, we had a discussion and we would like to entertain it in this area. So Pete, you
Yeah,
can.
so one of the things that's come up, so we've been doing that, we call it the Community Oyster Restoration Program in the northeast corner of Cold Spring Pond. I think as of this year, we've put about 150,000. These are second-year oysters back in the water, so we've overwinter oysters out on an oyster grant in Great Peconic Bay, bring them back for a few months, and once we run out of space, we put them back in town waters. And one of the issues that I've run into with the New York State DEC is, trying to figure out how to balance where we put these oysters. And as we know, there are a fair amount of water bodies in Southampton town that are either permanently closed to shellfishing or seasonally closed. And due to restrictions, I think that the DEC told me I couldn't put oysters that were larger than 1.5 inches. And when, in my opinion, and I think most of you would agree, when you put those small shellfish back in the water, blue crabs come along, other predators, it doesn't take long to have those decimated. So we're trying to put larger oysters in. And as part of what we're doing, we do put some oysters out on open bottom. I recognize personally, and as seeing people out in the community, we want to support people that are harvesting both recreationally and commercially, but also kind of in line with the sanctuary idea, just put a little back, give a little back to nature. And the issue that we've run into is there are some sanctuaries in the town, which the town's been very proactive, but there's one in Red Creek Pond. It's mostly muddy bottom. There are some perimeter edges that are okay for oysters. Same thing with North Sea Harbor. I I know there's one in Noyak that has the seasonal closure area. Sag Harbor's a little out of our striking distance with a boat. And got to the idea of, Cold Spring Pond. One, we have the oyster nursery there. And two, it's a really healthy, relative to the rest of the creeks. It's doing pretty well. I was out there this morning, managed to get a bushel of scallops, which is probably better than people did in a lot of other areas in the Peconic. So the idea was just to create something small where we could put some of our oysters. Other organizations or the trustees could put other shellfish potentially, just to kind of give that area a little bit of a boost and kind of keep it productive. So right now we're growing oysters, but we'd certainly be amenable to trying scallops. We're probably not going to get involved with hard clams, but Cornell and some other organizations might be interested in that. So we're just trying to create something small, kind of out of the way of, we don't want to interfere with recreational or commercial harvest, but we want it in an area where we can seed it year-round and has a generally productive bottom.
Yeah, it has this particular area that you're showing right now has very good bottom for oysters. And basically, it's almost an acre, and at that amount of area, you literally could put hundreds of thousands of shellfish in there and not even, get them on top of each other, and the potential to spawn into, reseed the pond and even further outside of, in the Peconic Bay. And that's how that's how these spawner sanctuaries work. When you put them in a small area, you know that the larvae's gonna be suspended in the water for a week or maybe 2 weeks, so they do have a chance to broadcast throughout the whole ecosystem and benefit not only the town and the trustees and you as a project, but also everybody in the state of New York, because the Peconic Bay is a state-owned underwater lands, and, there have been oyster sets out in Peconic, and we're hoping to have even bigger ones moving forward. So,
Is there any concern on the part of commercial fishermen that this because this land is taken away, in quotations?
I have not had any feedback. I'm not sure if the trustees have had communication. And I met with Ed, specifically trying to identify a site that wasn't, because I used to harvest bay scallops commercially in Cold Spring Pond, and I recognize that the importance of the balance of keeping those areas open to harvest. I personally have not really seen people utilizing that area. I did check out on the other side, just on the other side of the pond, along that line, and when I snorkeled around in there, there were a fair amount of hard clams, and it was also a muddier bottom, so, immediately I'm like, this is probably not a good spot to do that. So this is.
What line?
What's that?
What line?
It, on the other side of, where James is right now, right
Okay.
around in that area. So this is a very small scale. This is, a quarter acre out of
Only thing I was thinking about, either go straight across with a line, so we can put two stakes like we have before the market,
right.
or where you're gonna come out and like that, then you would have to put buoys there.
Yeah, we could
Yeah.
mark it with
Yeah.
corner buoys.
Buoys, or just have it go straight across. What do you think, Ed?
well, the blue area that's depicted
It's
there
closed.
is
That's a
season-
seasonal
it's a
closure.
seasonal
Yeah.
area.
So we
So-
could just take that line.
There are orange markers on
Yeah, that's what I mean.
both
We-
now.
Yeah, we could just move those forward, another 20 feet or 30 feet and have it go straight across. Might be easier than have setting buoys there.
Yeah,
You'll have more area.
specific to what we're currently doing with the oysters, once you can see it on that GIS with the aerial where
Yeah.
it's kind of that lighter color,
sand
so it's a
bottom.
sandier
Sand
hard
bottom.
bottom.
I know-
Once you
I
go
realize that,
once
but
you
I'm
go
just-
beyond that,
Yeah,
it
it's
turns
muddy.
to mud. So
Yeah,
a
I'm just-
larger sanctuary is great.
Yeah, I'm just-
We would
yeah.
utilize that.
I'm just,
Well, you gotta be careful,
Yeah.
you set a public hearing, so.
Yeah.
I mean, the public hearing is specifically
Right.
to the area that we're
Right,
talking
exactly.
about.
So you can't.
If we were gonna do that, we would have to set another public hearing and discuss.
Why don't you stick to your original plan, and then you
You
could
see.
always,
Yeah.
Come
you know,
back.
exactly.
I'm just worrying about later on, if you find people
Yeah.
not going in there, then we might have to go straight across.
But it's almost good because it's not right on the shore. You have to walk out
Exactly.
200 or
Yeah.
300 feet, and it's an area that's not very large, but it's large enough to hold a considerable amount of
Yeah.
shellfish.
Yeah.
How big is that area?
I mean, Gertz,
It's about 100 by 100
Yeah,
feet,
feet.
so it's 100.
You're gonna mark
So it's a big
You're
square.
gonna
And
mark the corners?
yeah, so we have some grant funding, so we can meet with you, but we can, you know, set up corner buoys. I know
Yeah, I think it would be best to
that's
set up
critical.
corner buoys.
Yeah.
That way the bay constables can drive down
Clear.
the road end there
Right.
and see
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
you know, who's there and where they are.
Yeah.
how many acres is Big Fresh, is Cold Spring Pond? About?
I meant to look that up. I don't know that.
Do you know,
off the-
James?
So, you know, I think,
Not to put you on the
when
spot,
you
James.
zoom out, we're
Sorry,
talking
James.
Not
about,
to put you on the spot, but
No,
That
it's-
was my point.
Yeah.
it's probably less than
So-
half a percent of,
214 acres.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's a quarter acre
Yeah, so
approximately,
it's-
100 by 100 is
Yeah, I mean,
approximately
you're
a
talking
quarter
about
acre.
not
Double
even-
the size of this room.
so mark it
Yeah.
out, get
Yeah.
started on it, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, I think it's as it's presented, I think it's a good project.
It is.
I would just leave the hearing open for any written comment until next meeting. If there's anybody that's watching on Zoom or has any questions, being that we have presented it, but I don't foresee this being any.
No, I think
Issues
it's a good
with that.
idea.
So you
I'm
could
just
just like
worried about
leave it
people
alone.
hitting
Notice
it.
of adoption resolution on today's agenda for it.
We can hold on that.
I know you guys talked about the one, but there's also the
The second one?
northern,
Yes.
northerly
Yeah, we-
part that,
Is that noticed in here as well?
that's
Okay.
noticed as well.
so originally it was, proposed from this point to this point, and
Right.
then at, you know, after discussion at your last work session, you brought it down to a smaller area where it's highlighted.
I think it's a good start.
So that's right along the road.
It's,
Yes.
yeah, it's tucked in that little pocket, and that's it. You know, we put some oysters there this year. You know, it's pretty conducive to oyster and shellfish along the sides. You have a lot of Spartina and rib mussels.
Rib
and
mussels
a lot-
along the
yeah,
side, which-
and the rib mussels are really, aside from oysters, oyster shell and concrete bulkheads, pretty much where you see most of the oysters naturally setting in that pond.
Yeah, if you walk around the perimeter of Cold Springs on the north side, especially at low tide, you will see quite a few oysters attached to rib mussels.
I'd like to see more rib mussels in the bay. I think they were good.
Yeah, no, they're another filtering mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and this is, I mean, historically, there's been very few scallops in there and minimal hard clams, so it's an area that's really not commercially viable,
Mhm.
or recreationally viable to get the shellfish, so that's another good area that we could use for a sanctuary.
I mean, I think we can close this public hearing. I mean, it sounds like this is
Yeah.
a,
Well,
Yeah.
Ed was saying
we could close it and leave it,
Yeah.
leave it.
open for written comment.
Written
2 weeks.
comments,
And
yeah.
Again, I would put, you have to put some stakes there. You don't have to put buoys, you could put
Oh, yeah,
stakes.
It's a good project.
Yeah, a couple stakes.
Yeah, is there any duck blinds in that area, James? I know
There's one up in the corner there.
There
I
are
think they're
some
all on
along
the
that
north.
side.
There's none on that side there?
I'm pretty
because
sure
I-
there's one way up there. No, There's none up there?
Mm,
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Is there one right in the
I
middle?
don't know
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
where, it's not
He's
exact.
he's up against the,
Yeah,
grass.
you can't put an orange stake in a duck hunting area, it's not good for hunting. So you'd have to put something else there. or-
Yeah, well, like in Red Creek or in North Sea Harbor, there's just like a white
The
float
white
that says shut.
spawner, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just kind of at the entrance, it just says
Yep.
spawner
That-
sanctuary
that would
or
probably be
shellfish
the best.
sanctuary. That's
Pretty-
all, you know, that's
Yep.
all we'd kind of be looking to do.
You still could put couple stakes there, you know. You don't have to paint them, just so people have
Yeah,
them.
I mean,
for
yeah,
markers.
that's not a big deal.
Reference
Put them
points.
there, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't want orange stakes if I was duck hunting there.
Put orange on the south side of the stake.
Yeah, so,
Right.
yeah, so, like I said, I'd like to, close out the hearing if we have no more input and keep it open for written comment and
2 weeks.
for 2 weeks, yeah.
All right, I'll second that motion. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thanks,
Great.
Pete.
Have a great day.
Have a good day.
Thank you for the
Congrats on
scallop
your-
update.
Right, congrats on your,
There are a few still out.
Public portion? I'm going to call public portion. Anybody here that would like to address the board today in public portion? Charles, anybody on Zoom? No. All right, so we'll close public portion then.
I'll second it.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we'll move right on to resolutions. Trustee Resolution 2023-307, application of Mike Federico at 47 Ramona Drive, Hampton Bays, tax map 900-292-0004-33. Project we worked on at work session, met Blue Book regulations, recommended approval.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Powell, all in favor?
Aye.
Got trustee resolution 2023-308, another application we worked on in work session for many work sessions. It's the application of Lynn Leahy at 15 Tarpon Road, East Quogue, tax map 900-362-4-8. I recommend its approval at this point.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Got trustee resolution 2023-309, Deborah H. Tennyson Feinstein, 29 Weesick Avenue, East Quogue. It's a renewal of permit GP 000-100. This is the final renewal. Recommend its renewal.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee resolution 2023-310, application for 7 Bayberry Cove LLC. It's a renewal, the first one. Bayberry Cove Lane, Shinnecock Hills, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-272-1-3.38.4,
38.
body of water, Middle Pond and Honey Pot Pond. This is a renewal, we've already approved it, so I'd like to recommend its approval again.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Welker, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Trustee resolution 2023-311, application for Stephen F. Hickey, 1377 Meadow Lane, Village of Southampton, Suffolk County Tap Map number 904-22-1-15, body of water, Dug Lagoon. We went over this at work session. It needs Blue Book approval. I recommend its approval.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Welker, all in favor?
Aye. Trustee resolution 2023-312, modification of application, first one of Brian and Madeline O'Donohue, 17 Carmel Point Drive, Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-270-4-1.14, body of water, East Shinnecock Bay. We worked on this at work session. I recommend its approval.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Welker, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2023-313, application of SPJ Group LLC, 78 Ferry Road, North Haven, Suffolk County Tax Map 901-6-5-50, body of water, Great Pond Creek. This is the removal of an existing catwalk and woodwalk and construction of a ramp, catwalk, and ladder at the end for 78 Ferry Road. I'd like to recommend its approval.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
2020, trustee resolution 2023-314, application of Rebzac Realty LLC, 74 Ferry Road, North Haven, Suffolk County Tax Map 901-6-5-51. We worked through this at work session. This is also a catwalk.
Second it.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee resolution 2023-315, application of 258 Horse Mill LLC, 258 Horse Mill Lane, Watermill, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-116-1-9.16, Mecox Bay. This is for common reed management for Phragmites. I'd like to recommend its approval.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee resolution 2023-316, this application, the town of Southampton for Gannett Creek, Village of North Haven, Suffolk County Tax Map 901-2-3-1.2, body of water, Gannett Creek. This is to do maintenance dredging at the existing inlet of Gannett Creek. I'd like to recommend its approval.
I'll second that.
Seconded, trustee Warner,
All in favor?
Was, when we discussed this, was there supposed to be an amendment for emergency?
I think we decided that we did not need it.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
Yeah.
So we were
So-
seconded, are we all in favor?
Yes.
One comment,
Oops.
I'd like to waive the yardage fee, being that, it has tremendous public benefit and it opens up a navigable waterway that historically has been dredged by the county, and we would not have charged them so for dredging our underwater land. So that's one thing I'd like to put on the record.
Yes, I agree.
Okay?
So seconded by trustee Welker, I will, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we are waiving the fee and the resolution has carried as well. Trustee Powell.
Trustee Resolution 23-317, waterfowl hunting location application for transfer and addition for co-permitters. Permit number 116, Richard W. Kowalski, addition of co-permitter Keith Elliston. Permit number 197, Richard Franks Jr., transfer blind to Stephen Vergari. Those are two I got. Looking for a second on that one.
Second it.
Seconded trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Waterfowl hunting location permit. Approval for permit 200 for Charles B. Schutzen, Noriak Creek.
I'll second that.
Seconded trustee Warner, all in favor?
Thanks. Aye.
This one, you got, this yours, Edward?
Yes,
This is
trustee
the whole-
resolution 2023-319, notice of adoption of amendment of Blue Book 8340, amending the management and products of the water of town of Southampton, Article 2, Section 17, spawner sanctuaries. I'd like to keep it open for written comment until our next meeting, at which time we can
Vote on.
vote on it.
Okay, I'll second that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
2023-320, budget and financing. Warrant number 19 of 2023, resolved as per recommended by the review of the town comptroller, the following vendor payment warrant 19 be approved in the amount of $26,047.05. One mounted check was issued of $835 payable to New York Title Abstract. Automobile rental, $376.60. Be Ready, $13,706.25. Card number, $6,666.04. Call Ahead, $50. Intersign, $765. Looper Equipment, $238.95. James E. Oliver, $3,812.50. PSEG of Long Island, $86.23. Mason, $343.48, a total of $26,047.05.
I'll second that.
Seconded trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye. Trustee Resolution 2023-321, it's an application to authorize a permit application fee refund to John Lucas Sr., where an application fee of $500 is made to the trustees of the freeholders of the commonalty of the town of Southampton for the construction of a bulkhead at the property located at 45 Peconic Avenue in the hamlet of Noyak. Suffolk County Tax Map number 0900-3-1-14.1. And it was determined that the proposed bulkhead was on property not owned by the trustees, thereby denying the trustees' jurisdiction. And it's resolved that the trustees authorize the issuance of a check to the applicant, John Lucas Sr., in the amount of $500, constituting a full refund of the permit application remitted to them.
Second.
Seconded trustees Welker and Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that concludes the agenda. Is there any further discussion that we have for the trustees? Anything that needs to be discussed that wasn't on the agenda? that we haven't already discussed today?
Just that we will be looking to open Sag Pond shortly, given the pond height.
Any other further discussion that the trustees have? Nope, we're all good. We need executive session still for the afternoon. We're good. Mark, we're gonna save that till the next meeting? All right, well, that being said, I think we can wish everybody a good afternoon, and we'll see you next week, right? A couple weeks, 2 weeks.
Weeks.
All right, I'll make a motion to,
Second.
Motion to
Second.
adjourn, seconded by trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.